We'll talk. We're not here to talk about aliens.
He's just short-circuited.
No.
We'll talk aliens.
I just really want to rub it in.
What the
Showing him my ass, you know?
Oh, okay.
Welcome to Mystery Files, where we take a deep dive into cases that span from the creepy to the truly bizarre and everything in between. I'm Shane, and today I'm telling my colleague Ryan about something I know for a fact that he's never seen before. A book!
Very good.
Specifically, we'll be talking about the Voynich Manuscript. And in the end, you'll have to decide if the mystery is solved or if it's simply a mystery. Ryan, when I say Voynich, does anything come to mind? Probably the manuscript, right?
Yeah.
That you don't know anything about?
I don't know anything about it.
Yeah, not much else comes to my mind on that word.
No, I mean,
so.
it's not like Voynich.
Voynich.
It's like not like a buzzword.
Yeah, it's just Voynich Manuscript, I don't know. Well, before we get into it, let's take a peek at one of my special videotapes.
Oh, not again.
Hello and welcome to the official trailer for Pod Watcher, the official podcast of Watcher Entertainment.
That's right. It's our weekly little get-together where we talk about whatever the hell we want.
Did you touch Annabelle?
No, here's this. No, we've never talked about this before.
You know, it's our place to let loose a little bit. I'm a big BIC guy. Bic? Is that how you say it?
Big energy.
Yeah, I was waiting for it. Sometimes the topics are contemporary.
Recently, Mari and I, we've been talking about it for like the past year. We should get a dog, but
And sometimes they're not.
Grogu. But they're always real. Do you know about how to steal from them?
Huh?
I've said this before, and this works most of the time.
Join us every Monday.
By watching over at the Watcher Podcast YouTube channel or listening wherever you find your favorite podcasts. We'll be there.
You know, it's really the only place where I feel like I can really be me.
Oh.
Don't touch me.
The year, 1903. The place, Rome. The Jesuits found themselves in a bit of a money problem. In the hopes of raising some quick cash, they decided to sell 300 treasured rare books from their Collegio Romano to the richest schmucks in town. Those folks at the Vatican.
Collegio Romano, that sounds nice.
That does sound
Sounds
nice.
like a salad.
It does. Hey,
I'd like that.
Some chunky croutons on that.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Do you make croutons at home?
No.
I could make you croutons.
Fuck yeah, dude.
9 years later, with the Jesuits still waiting on the Pope to find his checkbook and finalize the deal, an opportunistic book dealer named Wilfrid Michael Voynich happened to be passing through Italy and approached the Jesuits.
That looks exactly like I thought he would.
Yeah, sort of got a Daniel Bruhl vibe.
Oh yeah, big Brule vibes.
Big Bruhls. Those Catholics dragging their feet? Oh, too bad, since Voynich would be happy to buy some books from the Jesuits right here, right now. Voynich was secretly allowed to look over the books and purchase a stack before they were transferred to the Vatican. One manuscript in his pile particularly captured Voynich's imagination. An untitled 234-page book, approximately 9 by 6 inches, written in a language he'd never seen before, accompanied by colorful and bizarre illustrations. Voynich had no way of knowing it at the time, but he would someday be the namesake for how modern scholars referred to the book. But before I tell you what's actually in the book, let's first get into Voynich's scheme for selling the manuscript.
Oh, I didn't realize, so he didn't write it, he just found it.
He just bought it.
Look at that like little shop of horrors, like Seymour looking fucking plant.
If there was anything that was named after you that you just happened to sort of come across, what would you?
Bergara popcorn bucket or something like that.
The Bergara bucket.
The Bergara bucket, there you go.
Huh.
And you can fill that bucket with anything.
With some Shane snack. Popcorn.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Now, the book dealer was convinced that he had something important, telling the New York Times, "When the time comes, I will prove to the world that the black magic of the Middle Ages consisted in discoveries far in advance of 20th century science." Yes, Voynich was convinced this strange little tome was worth a small fortune. pricing the book at $100,000, which would be around $3 million in today's dollars.
That's a lot of quiche.
That's a lot of quiche for one book.
I mean, but if it's the book, like if this book was like a cookbook to, make life.
Oh, there's books
be
about
God.
There's books about making life.
I was talking more about like how to be God.
You're God, and you're like, I give myself $3 million again.
Exactly. It's like the whole conundrum where you could wish for more wishes from a genie.
Okay, pitch. You find a genie. You wish to be a genie.
Yeah, but that didn't work out for Jafar, if you remember, because Jafar turned himself into a genie. God, genies must fucking
How
hate lamps.
did Jafar not put that together?
Well, you didn't.
You're right. I'm no better than Jafar. Now, this expensive book was showcased in exhibitions at accredited art institutions, an attempt by Voynich to raise the profile of the book and lend its nonsensical scribblings an air of legitimacy. Despite the mystery surrounding the volume, Voynich couldn't find a buyer for his book of unreadable gobbledygook. Around this time, some scholars attempted to decode the book, but all attempts were eventually discredited.
So this guy spent $3 million on this book.
He was trying to sell it for that much.
Oh, he was trying to sell it for that much.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought he had spent that much on it and then had just spent the rest of his
I'm
life
sure he spent a pretty penny.
trying to find someone who could read it to him.
Well, he was convinced that it was, full of magic. When Voynich died in 1930, his estate was split between his wife, Ethel, and his secretary, Anne Nill, who became Ethel's live-in companion for the rest of Ethel's life.
What do you mean by live-in companion?
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, nice.
Perhaps exhausted by the book's stranglehold on her late husband's imagination, Ethel wrote a letter describing the history of the book as she knew it. The envelope for the letter contained explicit instructions that it was not to be opened until after her death. This letter and the manuscript were then placed in a bank vault, where they would remain for the next 30 years.
If you had a letter addressed to you that was written to you by somebody that said, do not open until I die, would you respect it? I didn't think so. Yeah, you didn't seem like the kind of cat
I'd open
that
it
would
right away.
respect that. I would give you one that says, don't open it until I die, and knowing that you would open it immediately, I would have it like squirt silly putty in your face or something.
Or you could put it in a box with a loaded gun in it.
No, I wouldn't do that. But
Call
that is
back.
a good callback to that, super funny thing that happened to that lady.
Pretty funny. After old Ethel kicked the bucket in 1960, Anne Nill took full ownership of the manuscript and sold it in 1962 for, how much do you think?
Oh man, this is good. The asking price was $100K. How much later was this?
It's at least a few decades later. But remember, he could not get anyone to buy it at $100,000.
I'm gonna guess $1,000.
Okay, well, sold it for
Oh, okay.
$24,500.
I was going in the right direction.
Not bad.
Yeah,
Well, that is around $250,000 today.
that's pretty good, actually.
I'll take it.
I should just write a bunch of funny books that have like made up language
just do a bunch of nonsense.
and I'll sell it for $250,000. That's a new business plan for Watcher Entertainment.
It's not bad. So it was sold for what today would be about $250,000 to rare book dealer H.P. Krauss.
Look how happy he looks.
Look at him. Ah, I got it.
I bought it. I don't know what it says.
It's mine. It's mine. This is the guy who's probably like, I want to figure out the secret to immortality and live forever. And then he
Pictures.
fucking died. Well, when Krauss realized that he, like Voynich himself, was unable to resell the book, he gifted it to Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, where it remains until this very day.
Big ass library.
Whoa!
Fucking quadruple
That's a
decker,
lot of
dude.
books.
Well, 1 million books in there, at least.
Oh, there's got to be. Can we look that up? How many
How many?
books?
I'll guess that too.
Ryan, what's your guess?
I'm gonna go with 25 million books.
25 feels like a lot, but maybe it's not. I don't know.
Roughly 1 million.
1 million? That's it?
Yeah.
That doesn't look like, that looks like way more.
Ooh, that's a bad library.
For him to buy a book for $250,000 and then just be like, JK, I'm gonna give it away for free?
This is 1%, man.
Jesus Christ.
So the book is safely locked away over there in Yale and New Haven, Connecticut. But where was it before Voynich took it off the Jesuits' cash-strapped hands? Well, the first time the manuscript enters the historic record is when the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II purchased the book for 600 gold ducats in the late 1500s. Some have speculated that Rudy bought it from infamous astrologer and student of the occult, John Dee. Evidence for Johnny Dee having owned the tome is mostly circumstantial, and where Emperor Rudolph actually got the book is is unknown. When Rudolph died in 1612, the book fell into the possession of his court chemist, pharmacist, and alchemist, Jacobus Horchiche de Tepenek.
What a name.
Cool guy.
He was a doctor?
He was a bunch of shit. You know?
Dr. Horchiche?
Dr. de Tepenek.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Ultraviolet light reveals de Tepenek's signature on one of the pages, confirming his ownership.
Did he write it in lemon juice like in National Treasure?
I thought you were gonna go a different route with UV light.
Oh.
What a book.
Yeah, he really signed that with his pen.
Yeah,
Why these pages stuck together?
Yeah. Now, Tepenek died 10 years later, passing the book on to alchemist George Barish.
Funny hat.
Then it was owned by Johannes Marcus Marci, who then gave the book to Jesuit scholar Athanasius Kircher in 1665.
I got the book now.
Book for me?
It's
It
my
remained
book now.
with the Jesuits until Voynich bought it in a backroom deal at the beginning of the 20th century. What a journey for a book!
All these gentlemen linked by one item and they have no idea.
Now it's sitting here in America.
Could you
We got it! I just really want to rub it in, so fuck you guys.
Why?
I don't know.
I don't think they deserve that.
They probably do.
I don't know. What the fuck?
Showing them my ass, you know?
Oh, okay. What are you, like a monkey?
Now, with a provenance that includes alchemists, book dealers, religious scholars, and even a real-life emperor, one question begs for an answer. What is in this god-forsaken book?
Reveal it.
The Voynich Manuscript is 234 pages long, written across 102 folios, made from approximately 14 cow skins. Carbon-14 dating tells us that the parchment was made between 1404 and 1438, putting an earliest date on when this book was written. Now, at some point during the Renaissance, it appears the book was rebound with a cover made from limp vellum, then the equivalent of a paperback binding.
Fucking carbon dating is so goddamn neat.
Carbon dating rocks.
It's awesome. I should get a tattoo of that.
Carbon dating is neat and it rocks.
Yeah, a whole sleeve.
Yeah, a whole sleeve. Now, the writing in this book is totally unique. There are no other examples of it anywhere, meaning it is either lost to time or made up by the author.
Aliens.
Oh, hang on, brother.
Oh, I thought you were gonna
There
say.
are
I thought you
no-
were gonna say aliens.
No. There are no aliens in this episode. I wouldn't do that.
I doubt it.
Now, linguists studying the text have identified distinct patterns, prefixes, and suffixes in the language, though academics cannot agree how many letters are even in the alphabet. Some of history's greatest code breakers and cryptologists, as well as specialists in fields as wide-ranging as chemistry, law, medieval philosophy, and mathematics, have all failed to provide any legitimate translations.
Probably also looks like they spilled some coffee. Oh God, what are you doing here?
Well, I just wanted to check in and make sure you're locked in, Burgoos. How about an impromptu quiz to keep you on your toes?
Do I have an option or?
I don't believe you do.
Sure, let's do it. Get on with it.
All right. Now, there are 6 sections that make up the Voynich Manuscript. Which of the following is a section that makes up that dusty old book? A, arithmetic. B, recipes. Or C, chemistry.
All of them? D? All of them?
I don't think that was an option, was it, Professor?
He's tricky like that though. He does this all the time.
I mean, I understood it.
Yeah, but he
tricky
does
guy.
this. He'll present a question and then be like, just kidding, there's a bonus option that wasn't even one.
Doesn't seem
and
like
he does it to make me
It
look.
doesn't seem like a trick. He seems like a pretty honest guy.
I don't think so.
Choose.
I put B, recipes.
Oh, great work, Burgoos!
Oh, wow, I
a
got it
jelly
right.
bean for you.
Ooh, jelly beans. Toss one in my mouth.
All right, I'm gonna go. Bye.
I am an estranged producer of that show, so I've never had direct contact with him.
Thank your lucky stars. Just kidding, he's a nice guy.
Well, anyway, as the Blue Man said, scholars have divided the manuscript into 6 sections, according to the illustrations, despite having no translation. And these sections are as such: botany, astronomy/astrology, biology, cosmology, pharmaceuticals, and, as mentioned, recipes.
How do they know this if they can't read the writing?
Well, I'm going to get into that. A lot of it, as I just told you, was due to illustrations and sort of inferring various things. Now, the botany section is the largest by far, comprising nearly half the pages, with 113 highly detailed drawings of plant and herb species, not one of which is identifiable in the real world.
Huh. Aliens, dude.
Freaky.
Some Pandora
Like,
plants.
shoo, shoo, shoo.
That's crazy.
Blum, 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 blum. Yeah.
I bet you that flower could like bite your finger off.
The astrological section contains symbols for well-known signs of the zodiac, such as fish for Pisces, a bull for Taurus, Taurus Nation, and an archer for Sagittarius. Depictions of the sun, moon, and stars, however, seem totally unrelated to any known constellations.
It's like Black Phillip in the middle there.
What are all these people doing in barrels? That's a pregnant lady in a barrel with a star. She's blushing. They're all sort of worshiping goat, I guess. This does look like witch stuff, huh?
It's witch stuff.
I kind of vibe with this.
Yeah.
Is he eating a black fruit?
I don't know what he's doing there.
I would get a tattoo of this on my chest. You got a bunch of women in popcorn buckets. That looks like George Washington. Very cool. Now, the biological section is filled with miniature female nudes in green baths and among twisting tubing.
What's going on the top left there?
Uh-huh.
That's tubing?
I think that's, yeah, I think.
That's a tube?
Are you suggesting? Yeah, I think it's tubing.
Okay.
It's like the Matrix, you know, vats of green goo.
Yeah, it looks like something's definitely gooey coming out of the
Free goo, that's a good
tip of
living.
that pipe.
Oh, and it's draining out there.
Oh, cool, cool.
Drain goes in,
Yeah.
fills with nice green goo that we all love. We all love the green goo. And then green goo go away. While bizarre, scenes like these were sometimes found in antiquarian books on alchemy, causing many to theorize that might be what the Voynich Manuscript is actually about. The cosmological section contains a series of 9 large medallions drawn across several folded folios filled with stars and other shapes, thought to possibly depict geographical forms.
A little sun in the middle, just chilling.
Yeah, they both got little faces. This guy's like, hey. And this guy's like, oh, thanks for reading my book. Now, the pharmaceutical section features another 100 different species of plants, herbs, and roots, this time depicted in elaborate jars and colored bottles. Again, none of these flora can be identified as existing in the real world.
These are just alien weed gummies, essentially.
Yeah.
God, I can't wait for the alien part of this presentation.
I make no promises. In fact, I promise you we won't talk about aliens.
I know you're just kidding.
And finally, the recipe section consists of pages of continuous text with star-like flowers in the margin, resembling a bulleted list, perhaps describing the practical uses of the plants pictured elsewhere in the book.
If this is a gag, really well done gag. I mean, like followed through, talking about committing to the bit.
It'd be hard to even fake, like.
That's what I'm thinking. That's why, if it's a language we don't know.
Well, that's the thing. They analyzed it and they were like, there's clearly like a system of a language to the words. It's not just nonsense.
We just don't know what
They
it
just
is.
haven't cracked it.
I just wonder if it's a language we don't know, and it actually is a language, and there's plants we don't know.
What's all that? What's all that then?
Where is the language from?
Freaky deaky.
Alien crowd rise up. Oh, no, bro, that's the noise the aliens make.
Yeah, but the other thing though is if it's, well, here's the thing though. If aliens, we'll talk, we're not here to talk about aliens.
He's just short-circuited.
No.
We'll talk aliens.
Okay. Now that we know the history and sort of the contents of the book, Ryan, it's time for some cork, brother.
I'm down to cork.
Love it. What's theory time?
Oh, Elvis impression.
Is that what that? Oh, it's theory time. Are you excited for these theories?
I better see what I hope I see.
Now, the thing about a manuscript, Ryan, especially when it's written in untranslatable languages, is that anyone can argue it says anything, and no one can really prove them wrong. Isn't that frustrating?
No, I find it kind of interesting.
Oh,
Possibilities.
wow, that's a nice optimistic turn on it. I like that.
It's aliens.
What I'm about to present to you are just a subset of some of the more prevalent theories to circulate over the years among Voynichologists. Theory 1, the book is a hoax.
Wow. You know, it never occurred to me that Voynich kind of looks like Post Malone. He's a time traveler.
That's that one.
What?
I'm a sunflower.
Let's get into the theory.
Our first theory is that the text is basically a sketch pad with some nonsensical language designed to look old and important that Voynich hoped would earn him a fortune. This theory circulated largely because during his life, Voynich refused to tell anyone where he got the book due to the less than above board way in which he acquired.
Wait a second, though. Wasn't there that big old line of people that had it before him? Where did that come from?
Well, that's why this theory was floated, because they were like, where did you get this from? And he was like, I'll never tell.
But then there was a pretty extensive timeline of the book.
Yeah, we know that, but
then
people didn't at the time.
Interesting.
So, as you have very astutely observed, Ryan, this theory seems unlikely because the code shows linguistic patterns associated with natural languages. It also follows Zipf's law, a mathematical formula that describes the expected frequency distribution of words in languages.
Zips.
Zipf's.
Zap.
Zap! I got there.
The improv exercise right there, nice.
Add to that the fact that carbon dating proves the parchment was old as hell, and it would have been very difficult for Voynich to get his hands on that much old parchment.
Cool glasses, though. He's got that going for him.
Well, how about we move on to theory number 2?
How about that?
Theory number 2. The book was written by alchemist Roger Bacon.
Oh, that sounds tasty.
Now, if the book isn't a hoax, there is a sea of possible explanations, beginning with what Voynich himself thought, that the book was written by famous English alchemist and philosopher, Mr. Roger Bacon. Now, Bacon was even regarded as a wizard by his peers due to his immeasurable knowledge, and was even rumored, over the course of 7 years, to have created a necromantic brazen head.
What is necromantic? I assumed that meant some
Like a
sort
necromancer, you bring life to...
Yeah, I assumed it was talking about like an actual human head, though, because of what that would
No,
imply.
I think, back in the day, they make a bunch of like automatons and stuff. They were capable of doing some pretty incredible things back in the day.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Voynich believed this theory, well, because the letter he found tucked inside the book theorized that that's who had written the book. Voynich had little reason to question this assertion. Roger Bacon is somewhat of a big deal, and he probably would have had little problem selling the book for his listed astronomical sum. Recall, however, Voynich was sure this book was full of important yet lost medieval knowledge.
Smart guy. I don't know why he'd waste his time on this. Didn't seem like he was hurting for cash, so.
Well, maybe that's exactly why. Not hurting for cash, nothing to do in life. But like you said, he's not trying to sell it, he's just putting something weird into the world.
Yeah, but wasn't the whole point of the hoax so that they could then sell the book?
I don't know. Lending credence to Voynich's assertion was the work of William Newbold. Where did he go? Oh, this guy. There he is. Look at him. Look at him. Look at him.
Sorry, I was writing something down.
He was a distinguished professor and historian of medieval medicine at UPenn. Newbold claimed to have cracked the cipher in 1921, and he and Voynich toured around with the book, then referred to as the Roger Bacon Cipher Manuscript. Now, while this would have been a fun explanation, under the lightest of scrutiny, the Roger Bacon theory falls apart pretty fast and pretty furious. Newbold's deciphering required, quote, transposition, changing the order of letters, abbreviation, using a system taken from ancient Greece, and then microscopic notations, whereby individual pen strokes within a single character, when magnified, serve as shorthand symbols for other letters. Now that's a long walk, and this would have required Roger Bacon to have used microscopes and telescopes to write the book, neither of which would be invented until centuries after his death. Add to this the fact that the carbon dating meant that the parchment was also made hundreds of years after Bacon's death, though Voynich couldn't have known that at the time.
Mouthful.
It's a mouthful.
But yeah, I'm just curious about the bacon part.
Professor, we got an etymology check on bacon.
Oh, etymology,
Ryan
yeah,
wants
sure,
to know
sure. Bacon.
what bacon means. Where'd that word come from?
Well, certainly, the word bacon is derived from the Proto-Germanic bakon, which means back meat. Huh? How about that?
There you go.
Oh.
Back meat. So you're a big fan of the back meat.
I am a big fan of the back.
And I think that means a history point for Ryan. Yeah!
I didn't even get anything right. No, don't.
Sexy.
Thank you.
All right, on to theory 3. The book is actually written in Old Turkish.
What?
Old Turkish is what I said.
Yeah, sure.
Our next theory is that the book was written in a phonetic form of Old Turkish. This comes from Turkish electrical engineer Ahmet Ardich. Now, Ardich claimed in 2018 to have deciphered and translated over 30% of the manuscript, along with his sons. Ardich cites similarities between the glyphs and Old Turkish, how various words begin with the same characters and have the same rhythmic structure. Now, while lots of people have come forward with claims of translation like Newbold did in 1921, phonetic Old Turkish is one of the rare theories supported by Lisa Fagan Davis, one of the world's leading experts on the Voynich Manuscript. Davis, who is usually quick to discredit the surplus of wild claims about the text, suggests the Turkish theory is, quote, one of the few solutions I've seen that is consistent, is repeatable, and results in sensical text.
The thing is, though, if this person's claiming they deciphered it, how can we even verify that?
So yeah, 30%, he's like, I think I got a handle on this shit. Me and my sons worked on it.
Case closed.
Lisa Fagan is over here being like, hey, this guy's onto something. So I don't know what the holdup is here.
Yeah, but we can't verify his work.
I think they can. He seems like a pretty forthcoming guy.
Yeah, I mean, but if he's like, I've solved it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's check with the people who know the language. It's Lisa fucking Davis.
Lisa fucking Davis!
When you see something that's like a progress bar, like if you have like 30% and you just walk away, that would drive me nuts.
Yeah, I don't know what the holdup is. I guess language is difficult. Maybe they don't have a lot of funding. I don't know.
Cool tree, though.
That's Turkey.
Oh.
That's a Turkish tree.
Old Turkish language, Old Turkish tree.
Old Turkish fella, Old Turkish tree. Lisa Fagan Davis, good enough for me.
Sounds like a home run.
Theory 4, the manuscript is actually a women's health manual.
Now that was a zag I did not see coming.
Now, one theory that Lisa Fagan Davis does not endorse and considered laughable is that the manuscript is actually a women's health manual. This theory was put forth by television writer / history researcher Nicholas Gibbs.
What else has he written?
That's a fair question.
Hey,
Professor?
No, don't bring the professor back.
Oh, again,
I just
what?
want him to check IMDb.
IMDb? Okay, let me get my phone out.
Ryan wants some intel
yourself?
on Nicholas Gibbs.
Look into it?
Not me.
Nicholas Gibbs.
Shane wanted that.
Nicholas Gibbs. Huh? Nope, I'm not seeing anything.
All right, so failed screenwriter Nicholas Gibbs. So we've got nothing. Well, thank you, Professor.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Professor.
sure. See you later.
So in 2017, Gibbs claimed to have cracked the code after doing research on the Voynich Manuscript for a TV network. He provided only 2 lines of possible translation, which scholars have since rebutted as nonsensical, if not derivative of other scholars' work. Ironic, since Gibbs claimed the translation text was itself a plagiarized women's health manual written in Latin abbreviations. While some have suggested Gibbs was hoping to use this story to sell a screenplay, there might actually be a grain of truth to the medical textbook aspect, which, again, was not originally put forth by Gibbs. So that brings us to Theory 5, that the book is a type of medical book
There better be an extra theory on that board, you son of a bitch.
written in a lost language. Now, the drawings of plants and herbs, while fantastical, are still indicative of a 15th century medical text whose author would have protected his trade secrets by using an invented language. Turns out, there actually is one small section of the Voynich Manuscript that most scholars agree has been translated. Located at the very end of the book, this section uses a combination of medieval German and abbreviated Latin to describe a traditional treatment for wounds made out of goat liver. Next to this section, in the margins, appears a drawing of a goat. Perhaps most interestingly, this section also has some characters featured in the main text, suggesting it could provide the toehold needed to decipher the rest of the manuscript.
Curious, but then what about all those fake plants?
Whoever made the book just was not a good artist.
Is there another side to the corkboard? Is there another
No,
theory?
That's it, man.
You didn't include aliens as a theory?
Well, here's my thought, right? Here's my thought. Aliens, right?
Yeah.
They make it to Earth.
Yeah.
How they get in here?
Like a ship, maybe something with navigation, like a manual of some sort?
Spaceship.
Yeah.
So they gotta have some really nice fucking paper.
However-
if you can build a spaceship, you got some nice Kinko's ass quality paper. You're not putting it in.
But this could also be just somebody jotting down, like kind of like transcribing for them. You know
That's
what
a
I mean?
possibility.
Who wrote it then?
That's a great question, Ryan.
Maybe it's someone from another dimension.
Maybe it's something from another dimension. Well, before I reveal whether today the Voynich Manuscript has been cracked or whether it's a mystery, I want you to lay it on me, brother. What do you think is written
I didn't think it was this serious. Why are you holding?
in the Voynich
Hey man,
manuscript.
it's just let me guess without the pressure. You don't have to do this.
It has to be one of these theories.
Yeah, let's go with theory for aliens. So I mean, it says
just
it right there.
inevitable at
It
this
says
point. You're just gonna say aliens
It says
no
it right
matter
on the
what.
board.
Do you
Theory-
genuinely believe that?
Yeah, I think it's the coolest theory. So yeah.
Well, the Voynich Manuscript devotees around the globe have continuously tried and failed to crack the myriad secrets that the book hides. Maybe someday, maybe some person or machine will finally figure out what this silly little book was trying to explain. But for now, folks, let your imaginations run wild. The Voynich Manuscript remains a mystery. It'd be cool if one of our viewers cracked it at home. We drawing.
Alien.
Well, that's that. We'll see you next week, everybody. Lisa Foggen Davis, Lisa Foggen Davis, Lisa Foggen Davis, Lisa Foggen Davis.